Welcome to our episode of Barman Saturdays, and this week I decided to take a look at The Legend of Hiawatha from Burbank Animation Studios. And this film is based on an epic poem by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow called The Song of Hiawatha. And I'll admit, one of the more intriguing things about the poem is that, the choice of name of Hiawatha. Apparently Longfellow was going to base the epic poem he wrote on a trickster spirit slash like cultural hero amongst the Ojibwe people, but decided that he'd use a synonymous name because I guess he liked the flow of it better, Hiawatha. But that's not actually a synonymous name with that spirit. Hiawatha is the name of one of the co-founding chiefs of the Iroquois League, which I guess does get confused with a spirit amongst their people, because in a certain dialect, the name Hiawatha sounds a lot like the name of one of their spirits they believe in. So they start getting a bit, crossed over because of some of the similarities they had. So, Hiawatha being confused with a spirit, I guess, isn't anything particularly new when this happened. But the fact he's being confused, with a spirit from another group of people is a bit weird. Apparently, this mistake was based on some faulty research Longfellow was given by a guy named, like, Schoolcraft, I want to say his name was. So, yeah. Um, the name of the main character in the Song of Hiawatha is based on a mistake that, is just going to stick around forever. At any rate, I suppose we should move on and talk about the film instead of, background information like that. I'm not sure most people would even really care to know that stuff. Um, at any rate, The Legend of Hiawatha, the film, it has some issues in my opinion. Um, I don't know if it's just because, it's the classic Fables line, and this is a reprint, but the audio in some places is just really weird. And it pops up in quite a few places, and it just always irritates me because it sounds off. As for the film itself, I'd say it's okay, it mostly moves at a fast pace, but I don't feel like we get a lot of characterization for a lot of the characters, really. And there's only like three characters we have any real focus on, really. And that's, assuming we talk about, Hiawatha's girlfriend, playing a major role in a scene where they go over his childhood. Because most of the film focuses on Hiawatha and his best friend that joins him on a journey he was supposed to take alone. But he feared he would help out anyway, and gets Hiawatha swallowed by a fish because of it.
Shh! Be quiet, Chibiabos.
Oh no! Hiawatha!
Yeah, this story is a bit weird. Though I suppose that's what happens when you have to fight, spirits in order to save the Indian nation, from starvation. You gotta go find that bear spirit and get, its secret pouch, which holds, corn or maize, which I admit is a bit weird also, considering maize comes from much further south. If I remember correctly, it comes out of, like, Central America somewhere, or is it South America? But, yeah, it's a bit weird he finds it, in the pouch of a bear living on a mountain in a completely unrelated area, but, I guess we'll just go with it, it's cultural lore, sometimes it's weird, okay? But yeah, he has to overcome various trials to get that pouch, including, defeating or, I suppose, going around the giant crawfish. I kind of wish it was a giant enemy crab, just because, it feels like a joke that could lead into, some clips from action RPGs or something. I know, you gotta fight the giant enemy crab in Genji Days of Blade. Like an RPG's not complete if it doesn't have a giant enemy crab in it, okay? But, yeah. It's all right, for what it is. It's just I find it hard to get super invested in the characters. And I imagine some people would not like the soundtrack that pops up, throughout the film. It's sometimes grates a bit on even my nerves. I'm guessing it's more traditional, like a song amongst the Ojibwe, or maybe they bugged the Iroquois for it. I didn't really look in the end credits for that one. I mean, I would assume it would come from the Ojibwe, considering, this epic poem's supposed to be based on, one of their spirits. So hopefully they'd be a contributor, but maybe they just asked a random Native American group to provide, some background beats for this. Albeit it does sound like it's probably just the continuation of one song. They just go into it at certain times. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Hiawatha saves his wife, and there's great peace amongst the Indian nations. Which, is probably a better way to end this than, the poem ends with Hiawatha converting everyone to Christianity, then riding off into the sunset after the pale faces show up. What, they talk about somewhat on the back of the DVD for this. Even though none of that stuff's really in the film itself. There are no Europeans in this movie. Till next time, then. See ya.
Brave Hiawatha will catch the crayfish king. La 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 la. And we will eat him up. Yum 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 yum.
Quiet. What is that?
A beaver, Dad.
Must be some beaver. What will we do? We cannot go round it.
Shh. Listen. Shogashi.
Do you still want him for dinner, Chibiabos?
I think it might just be the other way round.